his name is Vlad Tepes. He was a king, a leader, a father, a warrior, a ruthless warrior. He's now reigning over a 10-year period of peace in his lands. And then comes the threat of an invasion by the Ottoman Empire. And you realize this man has a very little army, not very much power, but they want to take the sons from the kingdom, including his own. And he's not going to let that happen because of the love for his wife and his child and his people. So you see a man having to dig deep and find a reason and find a way to fight back. And the way he fights back is the beginning of a very famous character. Well, that story, basically. I mean, it's a story that hasn't been told before. It's not another Dracula movie. That story has been told many times and very successfully. What was interesting about this script was that as soon as I picked it up, I was not talking about Dracula. I was talking about Vlad. And Vlad was a real human being. He was a man that walked this earth, and that was exciting for me. I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that. And I think the movie stands up as an origin story now. It's a real beginning of a very famous character, but we are dealing with the human. We're dealing with the man and his emotions and his ideology and sacrifice and all those things. I don't know. I mean, probably very similar to Vlad, I expect. If I was stuck without no options, I'd probably go looking for some superpower so I could turn into bats and save the day. Oh, I'd wait till it got dark, and then I'd go around my mum and dad's house and scare the living daylights out of them. No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't like the idea of being undead. Seems a bit odd, doesn't it? Maybe. No. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy being alive, thanks. Going to the gym after work with my trainer, that's probably the most exhausting thing. Once you've done a huge day of fighting in that armor which is behind you, and it's exhausting. I mean, it's the last thing that you want to do is go to the gym and train. You want to go to bed. You want to eat your food and go to bed, and I couldn't do that. I had to train because I was, constantly taking my clothes off. So I had to keep that training. So that was very difficult. That was really intense. Physically, it was incredibly demanding. Well, it's a brilliant novel, the Bram Stoker's novel. It's a brilliant story, and it's been around a very long time, and it sort of encapsulates a man. It's a tormented character, isn't it? Really, he's a character that can't die and has this thirst for something very dark. There's this thirst for blood, which sort of then intertwines sort of passion and love and luring somebody and seducing someone and all of those things. I guess that's why it probably has been is held the audiences captive for such a long time. But what we're doing here, is we're going back right to the beginning, to the man who created, who turns into this creature. So his thirst for blood is still fresh, and he's still part human, part vampire. Much more so than what he turns out to be in the Bram Stoker's story, which is 400 years later. At the end of the day, Dracula is immortal. Dracula doesn't die. Well, he can die in a certain way, but no, he hasn't died yet. And so he can go anywhere. He can turn up in any century. He can do anything. So we shall see. We shall see.